Hello, everyone. We are live for episode 25 of the Sports Senseis Unleashed. I am one half of your Sports Senseis, Drew Willingham, along with a very special guest sensei for this show. When you see that intro and you see the badass outro, it is all because of this man right here. When you look at his projects on Comey Media, the stuff he does with Wise El Jefe on Mentality, and especially with what he does with Snowman in the Morning. In my book, this man is a legend, and I couldn't have asked for a better guest to help fill the shoes of the man, the myth, the legend, Snowman that it is. Welcome, Cole Johnson, to the show.
Wait a minute, you're not Brian. Good afternoon, Drew. It is great to grace the screen with you again.
It's been a while, man, and you know, I kind of debated to play that intro that I made for you in the Inner Out Sports Debate. I was like, it's awesome. It's such a special intro. I was like, we'll save that for that show. I was like, I'll try my best to reiterate that in my own live form of words when we get started. But you guys have been killing it there on Mentality, man. I gotta tell you, I haven't had a chance to really tell you, but some of those things where you guys are talking about, you know, men's mental health, and especially with this month being Men's Mental Health Awareness Month, you know, what you guys are doing and the stories you guys are telling and the things you're getting out there, the facts that we don't usually hear on a regular basis by watching regular TV and sports, or not sports, but just regular media in general. It's been great for a guy like me who represents the company known as The Struggle Is Real to be awesome. So, you know, I definitely appreciate you for what you do to contribute out here, because it inspires me to up my game up each time as well.
Well, I appreciate that. And yeah, believe me, Wise and I feel that same struggle. But yeah, we when we got together, and we knew off of rip we had chemistry on the mic. It was just apparent. But it was funny. For the balance of last year, we were like, you know, we need to do something. We need to do a show. We need to do something. And both of us, before we came together and actually said, yeah, we need to do a show together, we both thought the same thing. Yeah, we want to do something not sports related. And so we were thinking, what would be a good thing to do? And then we came upon men's mental health. I was like, got it.
And it definitely deserves to be celebrated, especially with what month we're in right now. And there's not enough awareness for it. I mean, I didn't even realize until this year, even into like the beginning of the month, that this was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Like, it's not advertised as much as everything else is. And it should be, because there's nothing wrong with having issues out here in these streets, acknowledging them and working through them. So
Huh.
definitely, I really appreciate that show. And one day it's going to be an award-winning show. You guys crush it.
Thank you.
You
Thank
guys
you.
crush it. And especially speaking of crushing, if it
Mhm.
wasn't for Cole, I wouldn't have this.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.
When you mix that video transition that Cole put together and that voiceover that a buddy of mine put together after a 12-pack of Budweisers and a microphone in a garage, you got to admit that is magic in the making right there.
I saw when I created it, I was like, all right, that image is great. And then when I paired the music with it, I was like, oh yeah, that speaks to Sertoba and Drew all day. I think he's gonna like this. So I'm glad you do. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Because that particular day I was having, it wasn't an easy one. And then when Cole sends me that, it's like lunchtime. I see that. I'm like, Cole, you just made my mother, father, and day. I love this. Thank you. And it was, I've put it in everything ever since. So I can't thank you enough how awesome that thing is.
Well, you are awesome, bro. And let no one tell you different. And it's when you go through this journey and you create like we do, you just want to be amongst others who have a great heart when they create. You definitely fit that bill. So it's also to be in your presence, knowing that you are such a great creator of content yourself.
I appreciate that. And it's watching you guys, when I was down and out for that little bit, it's watching you guys and some others out here doing their thing that inspired me, motivated me to get my butt up even quicker and do some things. And am I back a little bit sooner than I should? Some say yes, but I feel pretty good. Do I need to rest a little bit harder to get this stuff done? Yeah, but it's all about pacing yourself, working within the balance, and not going too hard enough to where I croak out on a show again.
well, your partner and I have your partner in the Sports Sensei's Unleashed program. I think he had to learn that lesson too. Thankfully, he didn't have to learn it the hard way, but he had to learn that lesson last year after his cancer surgery, and thankfully that's in remission. He sort of has a similar energy you have now. It's like you have this new lease on life and you feel as though you want to tackle more because you from what I can ascertain from how you both have walked, it's like, okay, I realize life is precious. I got to do this. And it is important that I do this because it's important to me. And sometimes you get that engine revving so hard that you don't realize, oh, wait a minute, I can't really rev this hard all the time. And I think now Brian he's starting to learn to pace himself more. Although I still think he needs to pace himself even more. But I think he's learned to not be so pedal to the metal.
Absolutely. And the scary thing for me is being in my mid-30s. Like, I'm not even at 40 yet, and I'm going through that. So it's definitely not part of the pun, but the struggle, it has been real to deal with it. But hey, it could be worse. It could be older. It could take more time. It could be, worse health-wise. I'm grateful for where I'm at today, and especially here to talk sports with Cole, because we got some great topics to get at hand here in a second. And the first one that we have to discuss is about the beloved America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. The Dallas Cowboys were trashed in 2022, and history will repeat itself in 2023. How do you feel about this one, Cole?
What's that trace word? I've never heard that before.
That word, you know all about that word. I should have let you read that thing, as great as that word is. Tell him.
I have said this time and immemorial as soon as Mike McCarthy was the head coach of the Cowboys. You will have some success. You will probably even win divisions. You will probably look good on TV. You'll probably have great games. You'll have wonderful ratings. But if the goal is the Vince Lombardi trophy at the end, you will not get it with this guy. And we have seen proof of it as they have gotten out the playoffs the last 2 years to the 49ers, by the way. And this team has not seen an NFC championship game unless they paid a ticket to go there for the last 28 years. It's going to be 29 because I just don't have faith. Not necessarily the talent. I actually will say the talent is there. The talent is there. The coaching and the front office personnel, for a sprinkling amount of exceptions, is not. And because of that, the Cowboys will be the same dumpster fire this year as they were last year. And yes, they are trash.
Well, before I give my take, this edition of the Sports Senseis Unleashed is brought to you by Sleazeball Meatball Subs. Don't beat the meat or toss the salad. Just enjoy the sub. And Slackjaw VPN, the VPN for slacking off and the slacking be smooth. Thank you, Sick Nicky, for those comments there. I'll get to you, the rest of you guys here in a minute. You guys make this show what it is with the engagement. I really appreciate it. With this topic at hand, when it comes to talking about America's team. What? I said America's team. What? Talking about the Dallas mother, father, and Cowboys, we have to acknowledge the fact, like Cole said, that it has been 28 years since we have seen them in the Super Bowl. It has been 28 years since we've seen them get out of the divisional round. It has been nearly 3 decades since they have been nearly relevant. When you think of Tony Romo and that botched snap for that kick, when he shouldn't have even been handling the ball to begin with, but it happened so far into the season with the switch between Bledsoe and Romo that they didn't have any other backup plan for who was going to be the placeholder of the ball when they get into those situations. Fast forward, you got Dak Prescott. Oh, Dakota Prescott is what some of you like to call him. But when you think of Dakota Prescott and what he's been, has he been horrible? No, he's been fairly decent. But it's a similar situation to what we see here in Washington. When you've got a dummy making moves upstairs, bringing in these additions, and not bringing in the right pieces that fit chemistry-wise with the team, of course, at some point down the road, whether it's the head coach, with what we saw with Chucky, the head coach before Mike McCarthy, and then when you think about the other players that we've seen within that Cowboy locker room come to the field and make the mistakes that they have made in the crucial moments, still, what in the hell was that play last year? What in the hell was that play with Zeke and Dak and everybody's friend? What was that play? I still, if I could find it and use it without getting in trouble, I would play it right now. But that formation was an absolute dumpster fire if I've ever seen one. It was like watching a bunch of dumpster pelicans trying to play football. So when you put it all in perspective, they were traced last year. They were traced 27 years before that, and they're going to be traced for another 5 to 10 years after that. I rest my case.
Now, are you saying this as an unbiased analyst, unbiased broadcast journalist, or are you saying this as a fan of the beloved Washington Commanders?
Cole, you know as much as I do that when the commies need it, I give it to them, okay? I do not hold back when it comes to the commies.
You're
so
right.
In the same fate, I'm giving the same energy to the Cowboys because when you think of the word trash and you create that word trash, and I have to find a way to bring the energy to make it seem like it is propelled to the level that it is, I'm going to do what I can, brother, to help it out. And I just did.
Oh God. Yeah, yes, you did. Oh my goodness. This is what's so messed up about the Cowboys. It's not even the team. And I will say this, I will say this anywhere, and whenever we talk about the Cowboys, it is not the players, because I actually like most of them. It is the coaching staff. I don't hate them, but they just make me laugh. Gerald, I mean, he needs to entertain me more. You know, he needs to get up in the press box once again, have a 25-year-old blonde where we focus on him on a Monday night or a Sunday night television program and telecast, and we see him reach under the skirt of a blonde. See, I miss that Gerald. We need to have that Gerald come back. He's now milquetoast. He's bland now. But it's the fans that just do it, and not all of them. I know a few Cowboys fans that actually do make sense, and they are as critical of their team as you are of the commies. But after said play where Mike McCarthy decided to send 9 people in a route and have the bright foresight of Zeke being the center and getting summarily pushed after he snapped the ball by Greenlaw to the turf. 15 minutes after that debacle that they saw on the field happened, I heard Cowboys fans say, quote, we're going to Super Bowl next year, right? You know we're going to Super Bowl next year, right? Close quote. It's that which is frustrating to me.
The only thing they're going to is one step closer to having a soundbite like this.
What's that? Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs?
Absolutely, Cowboys fans. So will you please take Chris Jericho's advice and do this?
Would you please shut the hell up?
Because you guys are getting too wild out here in these streets. Let's move on to the next topic. And with this one at hand, it really scratched my head when I heard this man say the stuff that came out of his mouth recently. And that is when Brandon Miller should be drug tested for his choice of NBA's greatest of all time. When you think about this, Cole, how do you feel about this one? Do you agree with this statement? Or do you disagree?
I am in. Oh, no, wrong show. My bad. Yes, I agree with that sentiment because I don't hate Brandon Miller. He was a contender for National Player of the Year at Alabama, and he has talent, he has skill. Unfortunately, what he does not have is history lessons because Paul George, you think is the greatest player that has ever played basketball. Paul George, really? And even have the even try to endear himself to non-LeBron James fans when he says, I don't think LeBron James is the GOAT. I'm like, what? So your reference of basketball is only from the time you were born to now? Really? Like, wow. Even I studied up on the greats before I was born. I'm like, come on. Paul George. Jeez.
When I saw that, I just went absolutely wild. And I'm gonna go wild here in a second, but before that, I want to acknowledge some of the deets said for the last topic. Making the playoffs in double-digit wins is trash since when? Since they can't get out of the first round of the playoffs.
It's trash since your team can't get to an NFC championship game, let alone a Super Bowl.
Yeah, if you have all these great records and you still can't get out of the first round of the playoffs or at least division round, you deserve to pack it up. Like, come on.
And look, I'm an Oilers fan. 7 years they had double-digit wins. They didn't even get to an AC championship game in that 7-year stretch. Guess what we were called? Trash, and we were. Sorry, we were.
Facts. Ryan McCarthy says, command skins or red manders will suffice, Cole. Laugh out loud. How long has it been for the Redskins? It's been longer. How long has it been for the 49ers won the trophy? It's been longer. Come on, Deets. You're just reaching. You're grasping at straws now.
Well, thank the good Lord it will be forever for the slur.
And yes, Sick Diggy, I have been to a courtroom before. And when I was younger, not for the most appealing of reasons when I was a teenager. But hey, we'll get back to that another day. It's sealed record. Anyway, back to Brandon Miller should be drug tested for his choice of NBA's GOAT. Okay? Yes. Look, we've already been giving so much hell to ones out there who, the term, I love it, bronzexuals. That group of people so high on the fact that LeBron James should be the greatest of all time. Even before he had the NBA's all-time scoring record. Even since he got the NBA's all-time scoring record, I'm still not giving it to him. But when it comes to Paul George, is he a horrible player? No. Is he a joke? No. But when it comes to the conversation of greatest of all time, most people have like Jordan, Magic, and some others who have played like Dr. J, Kareem back in the day. Will, I've heard all this stuff growing up in my lifetime. Never in my life have I ever heard anybody say the words PG-13 or Paul George is the greatest to ever grace a basketball court and put on his shoes in the arena and run up and down that court and play that game. Because even though he has been a solid performer throughout the course of his tenure in the NBA, and even leading up to it, which is what got him into the NBA, I have not seen enough come from him for me to even put him in the top 10 of greatest basketball players of all time, let alone the top 25. Okay. He's not even on my top 25 because I was even thinking about this yesterday when I was at work because I was like thinking about like an answer to come back to this. I was like, there's no way Cole's going to agree that he's the greatest of all time and agree with Brandon Miller because then I'm going to be asking for a drug test from him as well. But when it comes to this situation right here, when it comes to Brandon Miller saying that Paul George is the greatest to ever don a basketball court, no, I disagree. I do not think that he is the greatest of all time.
Look, I get favorite player because listen, to me, Jordan is the greatest basketball player I've ever seen, but Jordan is not my favorite player. That distinction is Hakeem Olajuwon. And I have never, even when I was young, when I saw him, said that Hakeem is the best ever. I never said that. Never then. I definitely don't now. And look, I'd rather see Hakeem footage than I would Jordan footage. But I know greatness when I see it. And if he thinks Paul George, which obviously that's his favorite player, if he thinks that's the greatest who's ever touched a basketball, dude has about another 60 more years of NBA footage to study to say otherwise. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I mean, with Hakeem, he was great with Houston, and they got those back-to-back championships in the 90s, the time that Jordan was out. And it's like individually, I can definitely give you that on Hakeem Olajuwon. But when it comes to great talent in fueling an entire team, being that spark for the entire team consistently over the course of, over a decade, you got to give it to Jordan, because had he not taken that time off from basketball, who knows? He could have more rings, or he could have burned himself out. Maybe that break away from basketball was great for him for a little bit.
I think it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's certain aspects of some of these greats where some of them, it's kind of hard to compare and contrast because there's different styles of the game. There's different eras, of course. But when you think of all eras, I would never in a million years put Paul George in the top of that list when you combine all eras of basketball. Come on, Brandon Miller. Let us know here in the comments what you guys think about that. We're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break. But when we do, we got some Major League Baseball discussions to talk about some lawsuits in the making for that squad. We'll be back after these messages.
IRS, open up.
The IRS is the most feared agency in the country and has the power to seize assets, garnish wages, and even put you in jail for back taxes and unfiled tax returns. Don't be a victim. Call Kick IRS right now and let us kick those IRS problems out of your life once and for all. Our powerful team of tax experts will fight hard for you and will not stop until we've resolved your tax problems on your terms. And if you qualify, we may even reduce or eliminate your tax debt altogether. No more sleepless nights wondering when the IRS is going to come after you. Take control of your tax problems today and make the phone call. We have an A rating with the Better Business Bureau, and we offer a 100% written guarantee, so there's nothing to lose and everything to gain. The consultation is free and the phone call is free, so pick up the phone right now and kick those IRS problems out of your life once and for all.
Call 800-807-8188. That's 800-807-8188. 800-807-8188.
Now, I'm known as the guy who can fix just about anything, but the technology in most appliances requires very special training to fix. And that's why my family has Choice Home Warranty.
Choice Home Warranty covers over 25 major home systems and appliances. That's your AC, heating, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and so much more.
Call Choice Home Warranty now before something breaks down.
Get protection for your heating, AC, plumbing, kitchen and laundry appliances, and more.
Call 800-973-6121.
Here's an important message from the Diabetes Solution Center. Do you like pricking your fingers to test your blood sugar levels? No one does, but it's important to maintain your health. And now, by wearing a small remote device called a continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, you don't need to prick your fingers anymore. It's easy to use and helps you make more accurate diabetes treatment decisions. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now. And if you have Medicare or most major insurance coverage, you may be able to get a new CGM at little to no out-of-pocket cost. Shipping is free, and we'll even bill your insurance company for you. If you are testing your blood sugar 3 or more times daily, injecting insulin, or using an insulin pump, call the Diabetes Solution Center right now to learn how to end the painful finger sticks and get your own continuous glucose monitor, or CGM, at little to no out-of-pocket cost.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now.
Call 800-418-8650. Call now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a show that now showcases less commercials during a show than the TNT broadcast, the Sports Sensei's Unleashed.
Oh, that's cold.
TNT, I swear they have so many commercials, man. They really do. It is so bad when you watch a program on that show. I'm sorry, guys. Hey, give me a job. I'll help you out. Anyway, back to this show right here that we have. And with this one, I've been excited to talk about this one because I can't get enough baseball action in a show, it seems.
Okay.
When it comes to Major League Baseball being sued by 17 ex-scouts for age discrimination, it speaks volumes on the way that they conduct business. Do you agree with this statement, Cole? Do you think that, that it speaks volumes on the way that they conduct business?
All right. but before I go into the answer of this question, you all have to understand, for those who don't, of course, the tribe in which we hang knows this, but for those who don't, I am an Astros fan. I am an unapologetic Astros fan. I love the Astros. I am not a bandwagoner. I have loved them for 43 years. So I've rocked with them in disappointment, and I'll rock with them in championship runs and the ring that they now sport as being the defending champion. So I say that from the standpoint of Rob Manfred, the commissioner of the sport. You should have punished more Astros, period, and you were chicken to do so. That's why that has a lot of merit, because you have a guy in Rob Manfred who, just even in that particular aspect of the sport, decided, oh, you know what? I'll punish the manager. I'll punish the general manager. I'll find the owner and try to force the Astros to clean house with the rest of the managerial side of things, and then we will deal with this and go forward, but the players won't be punished. Well, how does that look now? And when you have someone who is that inept, even with that particular detail, how can you not be surprised that these things were happening under MLB's noses in having age discrimination with scouts? Because correct me if I'm wrong, Major League Baseball, it used to be the sport that we talked about. It used to be. It isn't now, because it's now football and basketball, and then baseball is way low on the totem pole.
Well, since the strike in '94, it's really gone down.
Right.
I mean, like 80s, early 90s. Yeah, I can agree with you on that.
And thank you. And it's things like this which makes the sport hampered and hindered in its ascent to try to make its ascent back to being the national pastime. you're having inept. You have some inept owners in the league. You have an inept commissioner, which is producing inept things. And I'm trying not to curse because it really is this bad. You have these ridiculous things that will happen, such as you discriminating against scouts. Major League Baseball needs to clean up its act, and this is another signal that Rob Manfred needs to go, and the owners need to find somebody else to be the caretaker of their sport, because this guy is not taking care of anything. Major League Baseball.
Absolutely. Just look at the look on his face with the Johnny Cochran actor on the right hand side from the O.J. Simpson trials. When you put all that together and you see how that look on Robbie Manfred's look on his face is, it just speaks like he doesn't have the confidence to do his job. When I think about, Cole brought up some great points talking about, the stuff that had lingered on in the past or whatnot. And then you've got the fact that America's pastime in baseball is not the number one sport anymore, which we've seen for now 30 years going on at least. But, when I look back on when the minor league players sued Major League Baseball for, it was like around $185 million, I think. They sued over violations of federal and state wage laws. And, with all that, now you've got this case, which is on federal age discrimination and employee act and 12 state laws against age discrimination, all within this, going against all 30 major league teams now. And Rob Manfred, my apologies, and the league office. Okay. So you got all that going on when it comes to this entire lawsuit. There's one particular ex-scout who's now 71 years old talking about how, 4 years ago when he was let go, or 3 years ago when he was let go around the pandemic, he was 67 years old and then gets replaced by a 27-year-old kid, in his words. And when you think about the age gap, of course, there's a reason that someone should feel upset about that. But this isn't the first time we've seen this in corporate America. Maybe it's big in baseball right now and the media is making it big, but this isn't the first time that we've seen people get pushed out for a watch after 30 years of service. Okay. You can think about big time corporations like DuPont or whatever around the country. And, I've heard plenty of stories where people have worked 30, 35 years. On that 35th year's anniversary, they're getting a watch and a swift boot in the rear end to go on out the door. This reminds me of something like that. What the difference is Major League Baseball and sports, when it comes to professional sports in general, the scale that it's on and the type of media coverage we have now, whether it's on TV, CNN, or even here on the internet with podcasting and stuff, there's such an array of an assortment of actual coverage of it that it's going to get more ears than what back in the day happened when old Johnny would get the boot to the rear end after working a factory job for 35 years. So it's unfortunate. It's very unfortunate, especially when you have 17 ex-scouts, same time frame, suing for the exact same thing, and it's all as a result of the pandemic. Pandemic screwed up a lot out here. Is for several people that I even know to have to go look for a new career because of whether they got laid off or let go from the pandemic, or whatever the case was. They're still out of a job. And some of them have been there for 5, 10, 15 years in some cases. And it just happened to be the situation. I got lucky with where I was at the time, but I have since left the career that I was at that time for greener pastures. And of course, to give me more opportunities to do what we're doing right now. But when I think about all that, it is unfortunate, because when you spend so much time doing one job, and pretty good at it in some cases, because if he was the one, because I believe that the article I read, he was like the former Red Scout. If he was the one who recruited Ellie De La Cruz, and for what he's doing in Cincinnati right now, I cannot, and I repeat, I cannot believe that they let him go, because whoever found Ellie De La Cruz in Dominican Republic needs to get a raise. That kid is showing up and shelling out. And Rob Johnson, the Legacy Maker Sports Network, hit it dead on when he called a while ago, he called this guy to be a sensation. And if this guy that I find out who was talking in the paper, the main one they were quoting in the articles I was reading, if he was the one who recruited Ellie De La Cruz, I would be upset too if I recruited him and you just let me go after finding something special. So with this topic at hand, when it comes to the 17X scouts, and I think of everything in general when it comes to the MLB being sued for age discrimination, it definitely speaks volumes in the way they conduct business. I do agree with Cole. They need to get Rob Manfred out of there. Let's start a new regime with someone who can actually be competent enough to run the league.
Yeah. I mean, because if you're one of the 30 owners of Major League Baseball, can you look at this guy and say, okay, the league is in good hands with this man? There's no way you could say that.
Nope.
There's no way you could say that, because I mean, he has made one gaffe after another gaffe after another gaffe, and this is yet another gaffe. and it's going to have to come to a point where one of these gaffes is going to really ruin a team, and I don't want to see that happen. I don't want to see that happen, because now it's like, okay, this is yet another to me. And yes, I could say, well, Rob Manfred's my friend because, hey, he didn't punish the team that I root for as hard as he should have. No, that's not how I believe, and that's not how I think. It's a simple case of you got to take care of the sport that you are in charge of running, and you're doing a poor job of it. This is another example of it.
Absolutely. And Sick, you are right. And I might even just have to get that promo and put it on up here, because in a few minutes, I will be doing Dusty Rhodes Hard Times promo. Yes, you can see where I get my inspiration as a wrestling fan to get animated on these shows that I do. It all comes from wrestling and promos and my love and affection for sports in general.
Drew Willingham, the new Bull of the
Woods. Oh, guys, it's been great out here with the comments to see. Let's Deets even throw a little bit more shade when it comes to it's truth. 95 for the Cowboys, 91 for the Skins, and 94 for the Niners. That's just the historical data. But what's your point? What is your point with bringing up all of this historical data? All three teams still suck. Okay,
and all three teams, as storied as they are, and as in high regard that they've been held, unfortunately, thanks to Daniel Snyder, not so much for the slur. 30 plus or close to 30 years that these teams have touched a Vince Lombardi trophy.
We joke about it as the slur, but and I know before they changed the name, we all called them that. We all did. Yeah. We all did it.
Oh, okay. I did. And I'll admit I did until I actually did stop about 2013. I actually did stop then. Because when I was like, won't. Oh no, he'll still call him that.
Yeah.
And in the face of it, I still will call them the slur. either the slur. I love commies. Either the slur, the commies, or the WTFs. Not the WFTs, the WTFs.
For someone who's like 124th Native American, I love the name and I want to stick with it. So, but hey, can't get what we want out here in these streets. So hey, exactly. I will just say that I will love to call them WTF, like you said, for what in the father. And then we've also got the commies. So we'll stick with that. So I love the commies. Ever since, I don't like the name Commanders, but hey, I will call them the commies. I just won't do it in the articles that I write, because then they'll frown upon that.
I don't like the name Commanders because I've clowned them.
Yes, on many occasions, and the clowning will not stop as long as they have that name.
They sure will not.
Guys, thank you so much for the comments so far. We got a couple more topics to get through as we carry this on out throughout the rest of this hour, but we've got a little bit more football to talk about when we go into this next one, and that one is the XFL losing $60 million during the inaugural season will negatively impact the league's future. And Snowman and I touched up on this a little bit last week, but because of how fresh it is, I wanted to get your input on it, Cole. What do you think about this one at hand?
I get, and both Danny Garcia, who's the woman that you pictured, that you saw in the picture, who's also half owner of the XFL, along with Dwayne Johnson, aka The Rock. They are painting the right picture. They're saying, you get into business and you want to have the business earn money. However, that, there's going to be some costs that's going to happen, and you're not going to profit right out the gate. I understand that. And that's the right type of talk. And this is the third iteration in XFL. And to me, the product on the field executed very well. I think they took the template from 2.0 and they extended it on the field in 3.0. And I like how the product looks on the field. The issue that I have with the fact that I think this does spell trouble for the league's future is they have not, I don't think, promoted it well enough. And you need to have that in order for this league to actually have people say, oh, okay, this is great. For example, I think they need to hammer home the fact that they are in one of the greatest football hotbeds that is bereft of a pro football team in St. Louis, and they have the best attendance in all the XFL. And I think they should endear themselves to St. Louis, move their headquarters there, and actually show, okay, if you actually want to have this league be profitable, and if you actually show love, this is what we will do, and have one Ram and one X-Ram and another X-Ram and another X-Ram represent them, an Isaac Bruce, a Torrey Holt, heck, a Kurt Warner, a Marshall Faulk. Just imagine if you have those people being able to be arbiters of the XFL from St. Louis, and people see how it is in St. Louis. You would see how it would permeate through the other seven teams in the league, and they'd want to do the same thing. They're hurting from promotion, and I think they did not promote it well enough. And yes, you could say, well, the regular season starts. Well, the regular season is when March Madness happens. Yes, true, it is. However, they still have the playoffs, and that's fine. Problem with that is they have to find a way to promote better.
You're absolutely right. And I'm not going to go too far into it because I did give a lot on the subject last week when we talked about it last Friday. I definitely wanted to hear what your opinion was on it. But something that you brought up that Snowman and I didn't really talk too much about, and that was, their marketing. And they could have marketed things a little bit better, especially with the amount of time that they had, because they, they had 2 years to put this thing together. Once The Rock and Danny Garcia came together, bought the assets to the league, they had 2 whole years to put this thing together, kind of like how Vince McMahon had 2 whole years to put it together. And even at that point, when Vince put together for the 2020 season, he did pretty decent with the marketing. I can remember hearing more about the XFL's marketing, or at least seeing more marketing ploys from the XFL back then than in this rendition. However, when I think about what I saw in the 2020 season and what I saw in the 2022 season, the gameplay and the performance on TV and what I'm watching was more enjoyable this go around than last time.
Yes.
And the sad part about it is, had it had the right marketing, it would have appealed to more people. Because for those of you who are wrestling fans out there, and I brought this up last week, it's kind of like when I think of NFL and XFL, it's like you've got the NFL as WWE and you got the XFL as AEW. They're on 2 different tiers, but they are kind of going head to head with each other. It is competition for one another. The USFL isn't. The USFL should be more like the minor leagues for the football. And even then, I wouldn't want any of their players on the NFL team because it just looks horrible. But that would be the closest thing that I would consider for like a farm league for football, because we don't have NFL Europe anymore. Okay. So when I think about all that, and I think about the XFL, if they can lose $60 million, which is a huge sum of money. But when I look back on history, most major corporations, most major businesses, the first year they were in the red anyway. But being in the red for $60 million is huge when you do have only $120 million you started with. Now, they have signed other deals with other companies as far as advertisements and brands and stuff like that to help bring in more revenue. but you're going to have to do a lot within this season to try to make up the difference of losing $60 million. With talking about it with Snowman last week, we don't feel like that they're going to lose $60 million again this season, but they could potentially still go in the red again. But at least if they're trending upward and then they've got an influx of revenue that comes in based on what they do throughout that season, it should be okay going forward. But if they have another $60 million loss this year, I wouldn't be surprised they do go bankrupt, because it's pretty much all of your capital right there with what you started the league with back in 2022.
And they didn't pay too much to get the league. If I'm not mistaken, I think it was under 10 million when they got it.
Yep.
So they got it at a bargain level price. So the fact that they have lost almost 9 times as much as they parted for. Yeah, like I said, okay, the number's bad, but what you said is absolutely correct. If they're going to lose money, and I think they are going to lose again, it better not be 60 again. It has to be, I would say, 30, maybe even 20. So you can actually say, okay, there is some improvement. Things are looking better. We probably won't have to wave the white flag of surrender, because people are starting to buy into the product a little more. But it would have to be that the wonderful attendance that you normally get with the games in St. Louis, the other 7 have to draw just like that. And if they can't, like this year, you're going to see them be 60 million in the red again come April 2024. And am I saying that's what I want to see? Of course not. Of course not. I love both Danny and Dwayne, and I want this to succeed. And I love the product that I saw. And I agree with that analogy. I think the XFL is AEW, the NFL is WWE. And I agree with you. The product is great that I see. Now, can they tighten it up with marketing and in the executive room? That is the question. Hopefully that answer is yes, but we'll see.
Time will tell. It'll definitely be interesting to see that. One quick fact, I just looked it up. The Rock and Danny Garcia bought the XFL back in August of 2020 for $15 million.
15, okay.
And with their partners that they have invested along with it, they had a total capital of $120 million going into this previous season. So they've already lost half of it. With based on where my comparisons were with earlier. So that's a tough loss, but The Rock and Danny Garcia together, because she has helped manage his career since they were together back in the 90s. Like if they can build with what they built with his acting career and his entire portfolio, I'm sure they can turn things around a lot better than Vince McMahon had the chance to when he had the company. So
there's no question. Look, Dwayne has shown that he has some good business savvy. Danny, that woman is probably one of the best business women that's out there, period, right now.
He's probably as business savvy as he is because of her.
He is business savvy because of her. She is one of the strongest business women that's out there, right? I mean, can compete with the greatest of the business men out there. That is how good she is. So if you were to ask me, do you think the league will fold? The answer is no, because I think they will find it. I think they will find their mojo. I think they will make money. I think they'll turn this around. And I think this would be like one of those, you remember the first year we lost 60 million? Look at us now type of stories. I think that's what they will be telling.
Guys, let us know here in the comments how you feel about this right here. We're going to take one last quick commercial break, and we'll see you on the other side.
How would you like to get high-speed internet for your home for less than $2 a day? That's right. For about $50 a month, you'll get lightning fast internet. Are you paying less than $50 a month right now for your internet? Then call Whole Home Connect right now for blazing fast internet at $50 a month with no price increases, no hidden fees, no contracts, no equipment fees. It's a great deal. And guess what? You can try it for 15 days. If you don't like it, you get your money back. But you're gonna love it, and you're gonna love the price. Internet for your home for $50 a month. That's less than $2 a day. Plus, no contracts, no equipment fees, and our 15-day guarantee. Call now.
Call 866-314-8900. That's 866-314-8900. Again, 866-314-8900.
If you're the kind of person that likes to drive a lot and your car is a little bit older and out of the normal warranty, keep listening. What's going on underneath the hood of your car? If your car is out of warranty, you're at risk of expensive repair bills. Now, for a couple of dollars a day, you can get an extended protection plan for your car. Hey, you love your car, so why not give it a little extra care? And make sure if something goes wrong, your bank account is safe. Literally, for a couple of dollars a day, you can give yourself peace of mind that you purchased a top-tier vehicle repair coverage plan. Call the Auto Protection Network right now and ask how you could save an additional $500 on your policy.
Call 877-845-0463. Call now.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a show that has an animation motif, but it's all American. Welcome back to the Sports Sensei's Unleashed.
That's better than mine. It was going to be a show that despises TRAYCHE Cowboys and yoking. The Sports Sensei's Unleashed. This has been one great episode, and I can't thank you enough for joining me here today, Cole, as we've got one more topic to discuss before we get on out of here, and one I've been waiting till the very end because of right here, LeBron James did not deserve his ESPY nomination for breaking the NBA all-time scoring record. Do you agree with the statement, or for once, are you going to side with LeBron? I know it's tough. I put you on the spot.
Okay. I'll side with LeBron for this reason. This is a culmination of a radio network / television network / online network that has promoted, that has backed, that has supported, that has given reach arounds. that has pleasured themselves to all things LeBron James for the last 20 years. And this is the culmination of it. I mean, it's ridiculous to me that it got to the point where that chase was sabotaging the team. I mean, it was it was like, okay, well, the Lakers lost. Oh, but how close is LeBron to passing Kareem? I'm like, who gives a crap? It is a career achievement, and yes, it says a wonderful career was had because you were able to last that long and score that many points. I will give the man that credit. I did the same thing with Kareem. I'll do the same with LeBron. That says a lot if you can last that long and score that many points. However, and this is also another misnomer I'm going to shoot down, the fact that he has scored the most points ever for a player in NBA history does not mean he is the greatest scorer ever. Most prolific and greatest are two different categories. I mean, it just is. So, does he deserve the award? Okay, yeah. I mean, he it's a career achievement. But do I think there were other worthy recipients of that award? Yeah. For one, I would say Angel Reese. But hey, who am I?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to dispute this one. I mean, I wanted to just put that out there because I thought for a change that it would be nice if we actually agreed with something that should go in favor of LeBron. And for those of you out there who watch the shows on a regular basis where myself, Snowman, Cole are throwing shade on LeBron, I know you're probably saying this right now.
That's terrible.
But it's true.
But right now, I'm singing this.
Hell to the no, to the no, 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 no. Hell no, to the no.
Because some of you out there you
can't handle the truth.
Because if you push me too far, at some point, I'm going to start doing this.
Come after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Because just like The Rock says,
You should know your role and shut your mouth.
Jabroni.
if we don't watch ourselves too much, just like they say, we're going to get the Wonder Bread Choir. So for those of you who are going to give us a hard time for actually siding with LeBron James, would you
please shut the hell up?
I know some of you out there are probably like honestly saying this.
Ain't nobody care. Who cares? Ain't nobody.
Say it,
Dion. Seriously, though, he does deserve the ESPY nomination for what he did. I mean, of course, like Cole said, there's a difference between the greatest of all time, the most prolific of all time. He has had a long career. He has achieved some things, but he has played in the game has been more pacified than ever in the last 20 years than the previous duration of the time the league was incarnated before that. So you have to do a little bit of give and take when it comes to this topic right here. But thank you all for being part of this show, and especially the entertainment and the shenanigans I like to throw in it throughout. We do have a couple comments that we'll get to before we get on out of here. The Sports Senseis with a Z. That's what we should have advertised it for as with today. The next time Cole comes on here, the Sports Senseis with the Z is what's going to happen. If I didn't have so much going on, I would have probably thought about that, but Ryan McCarthy beat me to it. Shout out to Ryan McCarthy, who actually – I didn't get a chance to announce it earlier. I can do it now. I can show this right here. Ryan McCarthy will be on my show next Tuesday. The In-Or-Out Sports Debate. He will be there. There we go. He will be there for episode 92 next Tuesday at 7:05 p.m. Eastern time. You can also check out here in about 52 minutes. You can see the Brian Snow Show. I'll be hosting a 2-hour special event for Snowman today as he is on vacation. And for those of you watching right now, it is definitely going to be an entertaining one. If you thought I went off on this one, I definitely went off on that one. Let me know how you feel in the comments about that show. Cole, I can't thank you enough again for being here on this show. Got any closing thoughts before we get on out of here?
Oh, I have some. For one, attention, Ryan McCarthy. Attention, Ryan McCarthy. Aaron Rodgers is still a high space cadet.
Ooh.
Other than those comments, look, thank you for having me be a guest sensei. I love the gi. I appreciate that. Look, I treasure the time and the moments I get a chance to spend with wonderful individuals in the chat, the viewers out there, and wonderful content creators like you. It is an honor, a privilege, and a joy to do this, and to really feel as though I have a platform where my voice matters, and I totally appreciate that from you. So thank you, sir. I appreciate it. And yes, and it's all true. Cowboys fan, you suck. Bronsexuals, you really suck because you don't shut up. And Lakers fans, stop superimposing every single free agent known to man to a Lakers jersey.
Yes.
That's my final comments.
Well, my final comments are thank you all in the chat, especially with another one. That's a little more swollen picture of me, Drew. It says Ryan McCarthy. But for those of you out there who've been, active in the chats throughout on this platform, my other platforms, especially since relaunching my own here recently. It takes the viewers out there to make this as special as it is. And although we are not anywhere close to where we want to be individually, collectively, we're still here with you. And if it wasn't for you guys, if it wasn't for like Cole and the content creators out there who motivated me with their own work or even in individual messages to push through the stuff that I was going through, I wouldn't be here today. I would not be here 68 days after what happened. So thank you all for the kind words, for the prayers, for everything. Still not out of the woods yet, but I'm here. And we're back as we've now gone through episode 25 of the Sports Sensei's Unleashed. We've only got one more thing left to do, and that's look at one badass outro by the man to my side right there, the Cole Johnson. Everybody stay safe out there in these streets.
Sertoba Media, where the struggle is real to be awesome.